Only 4 people tonight. Well, teaches me better to not stream early in weekdays. But yeah, maybe this can be a shorter stream. Just a kind of coffee and chat kind of stream. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another CM Kozeman live stream at the end of the month, 31st of January 2024. Already, people are filing in. Hello, cauliflower. Well, it's just going to be like 4 of us tonight, so yeah. Who else is here? Some people are lurking, clearly. Squidlord says hello. Hello, Mr. Kozman says Confi Mumphy and Oreozorus. All right, buddies. It's just a few of us tonight. It's only you and me, buddy. Yeah. I hope it's been a nice week. I hope everything is going well for you and everyone you love. Amanda says hello. Hi, Amanda. Nice to see you here too. Oh, this hair is getting out of control, but yeah. 6 people. Confi Mumphy says, I really like how your hair turned out. Well, thank you. Let's wait for people to come in. I was going to feature the cat, but the cat just is sleeping now. And like when I wake her up, she becomes a bitch. She wants food all the time. Yeah. Thank you, cauliflower. These are the last few years of me really looking young, I think, but yeah. 8 people, okay. Maybe we can salvage this stream, who knows? Oh. How is the first month of the first year treating you? There's been a lot of chatter about, this January lasted too long, etc. But what do you think the rest of this year is going to be like? Drinking coffee? Are there any videos you look back to as your favorite? Says Comfy Mumphy. Yeah, I'm really proud of the Arachnid Family Tree compilation. 12 people. Okay. I'm really proud of the Criminal Cryptid series, the intro collaborations with Prometheum. I'm really happy with those videos. I'm really happy with the Frog Extravaganza and the Sky Beast and like many of the videos I did last year. I'm really happy with them. Some older videos I wish I had used. Well, I use a filter which removes the blank spaces from my conversation. So when I'm speaking, I'm like, there are some silences. So there's a filter on Audacity, which is the program I use, which just chops them out. And then it becomes a really like smooth conversation piece. On some earlier videos in like 2015 and stuff, I really used a handheld recorder, and the audio quality is really crappy. I wish I had done those with a better mic. Well, yeah, it's all a learning curve, all part of the process, all part of the game, the grind. That is the CM Kozeman YouTube extravaganza. Just just checking some messages. 10 people. 1 month of the new year already down the drain. These weeks I really feel like hibernating. I'm not in a bad mood. Let me get that straight. I'm actually having a nice time. But sometimes the day feels like slogging through. Like imagine you're swimming, but instead of swimming in water, you're swimming in honey. So yeah, honey, it feels slow. And I think many people, we're just meant to lay down and sleep. Oreosaurus says, favorite flavor crayon. I don't know. I haven't used crayons much. Not as a kid, not as an artist. These days though, I'm really happy with this counterfeit Chinese watercolor set. I landed in the city of Eskişehir for literally like $7 or something. And then I don't know. I haven't tasted these. I don't plan to either. But they're good watercolors. I'm just check this out. Let's do some coloring here. Uh-huh. They got really bright colors and very fine grains too. I like this thing, whatever it is. So yes. Yep. Now wait until this dries. Then it will be special. This is my off the cuff drawing of Dimetrodon. I've actually been really productive. Amanda says, swimming in honey sounds delicious. Well, yes, but I think due to, well, physics reasons, the honey would pull you under and you would drown. So we don't want that. Mm-mm-mm. 7 minutes, 9 people. Yeah, it's just gonna be a cozy chat, I guess, which is fine. The days of 30, 40 people in the stream. Swimming in honey continued. Amanda says, it's a good way to die. I assume the corpse would be preserved nicely. I don't know about the good way to die bit, but I think honey would preserve your corpse. Or, I mean, not yours, a corpse. I think it was used as a kind of primitive and extremely expensive way to embalm people in the past, but I don't know. We got to ask somebody who studies mortician science. So in between work and other creative tasks, I've been painting surreally, and this is just one of the many I have created. And I found that if you just use charcoal with watercolors, you can really get this like whimsical mid-century surrealist look, which I'm really happy with. So I really recommend this technique. You just need a charcoal bit and lots and lots of watercolors. The bad thing about watercolors is you have to spend money for the paper. So yeah, it's watercolor paper. So there. 14 people. Hello, everybody. 10 minutes in. Where's everybody dialing in from tonight? Let's get those comments rolling. Where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? So we can get tonight's conversation rolling. I know it's the middle of the week, and if you're sparing your time for this, it really means a lot to Daddy Kozman. Yes, where is everybody from? Dox yourselves, people. Janer Schenkel is from the Netherlands, Oreosaurus from Australia, But Pirate tuning in from Massachusetts. Amanda is from Germany. Dominik Zeleniak is from the Czech Republic. Boris Chonev, Merhaba from Bulgaria, which houses a lot of people who speak the Turkish language. And it's all a bit mixed. There are like Pomaks, there are proper Turks, or there are like Christians who just happen to speak the Turkish language, just like the Gagauz people. A broad diversity of Turkic-speaking peoples in that country. Confi Manfi says, we love sausage in the Czech Republic. Yes. Commenting on Bulgaria's population, Boris Chonev says, yes, it's a complicated, hot mess. Large European representation. Yeah. I guess most of our American friends are too busy. Well, it's just the early middle of the day, middle of the week for them. So, yeah. 18 people. Greetings from Brazil, says Leonard Dismos. Hello, my friend. We can have the questions like if you want to ask me directly, or should I prompt questions somehow? How does that go? I was just talking about a journalist friend about how you can showcase things which happen to you in your daily life as entities, sort of like cryptids or SCP things. And the idea started thus, that one day my friend's cat started yelling at the window to an unseen thing, and then the cat jumped at the window and just smacked the window. So on little weird memories like that, there's a way to craft entities, and it's basically a game of make-believe, but it's fun. So that instance, you can turn it into a kind of invisible floating poltergeist in front of your window. Or when it comes to other cases. So there was another case where there was a high wind and this friend of mine was trying to open her umbrella. It got caught in the wind, went up to a tree somehow, and then from the tree, a few minutes later, it crashed onto the head of a passing lady. So now that something like that, you could turn into a vampire umbrella, much like that weird yokai sort of monster in Japanese folk tales. There's something in Japanese folk tales that looks like a umbrella with one human leg and an eye. And actually, I think the origin of that yokai must not be too different. So there's a funny game you can play with. Just thought I could share it with you. Boris Chonev says, a friend of mine is going through very hard times. How would you comfort them? Well, I'm very sorry to hear this, but what happened? Somebody dying? I don't know, self-harm, suicide? Who, daddy? We've seen them all. So if you can clarify about what's going on, I can at least give my ideas on it. Oh, father passed away. It's very sad. When somebody dies, there's this awful mistake some people do. And it's like, oh, honey, don't worry. Try not being sad. Let's be happy. Or even worse, sometimes they say, Why did they die? Was he sick? Oh God, I hate this. Usually this happens a lot in the States. In America, people do this. As if, you expect, it was cancer. Okay, it was cancer. Then it feels like, maybe they weren't eating right or whatever. But goddamn, that's just a very evil, evil way to look at these things. It's evil and reprehensible without realizing it. So maybe try not to go there. This is going to be a big emotional roller coaster. Just remind her that you will be there. And I don't know, just sometimes even being in the same room as they cry helps. But ultimately, it's a very, very tough process. If there are any like upfront costs you are able to help with, like, I don't know, funeral arrangements, transport, logistics, like, you should take as many burdens of the life away from them as possible. But also, sometimes you should just also take yourself away too, like leave them time to grieve and stuff. Amanda says, my favorite local entity is the owl who lives in my attic. Sounds like an adult human living there sometimes. Well, so that could be, you could play the SCP game. I mean, I don't know what this is useful for. It's a good way to conceptualize things in your life, so you can build up a list of entities to share as stories between loved ones and friends. It also reminds me of this one case in the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, which was a kind of, it was established after a recent military action, let us say. And then somewhere where one of those battles happened, there was an owl living. This is not an SCP, this is a real life story, by the way. And then the owl was making the like weird noises. You know, they make very weird noises, by the way. And then the local, not even the locals, like some governor from mainland Turkey, basically got the idea that this was a ghost of people who died defending that place in northern Cyprus. So everybody was like, the ghosts of the martyrs, the ghosts of the soldiers, they're there. Then at the end, a news crew did go in and a big owl flew out live on TV. And in order not to lose face, the political figure who said it was a ghost said that anyone who says this is an owl has a bird for a brain. The owl just happened to be there, but we know the spirits of the dead also live there. So that sort of mentality. There's some nice comforting about dealing with a grieving friend. Amanda says, if someone dies, bringing them food can help. I hope that helps. Yes, it's very like, just bring food and make yourself scarce. Like, if that person whose father died, in case she's maybe your girlfriend or you're romantically interested in her, you have to put that in the back burner for a bit, I'm afraid. Just like, yeah, take it easy. Alo Sour House says, oh. Well, you're disrespecting my friends, you're disrespecting me. So go easy there, huh? Matthias Garay says, how to create a science fiction world believable like yours? Well, thanks for, okay, well, I've answered this question in different versions, but I'll offer this. God, I hate this little fucking. It's supposed to be a good luck charm. I don't like it. I hate little beads and stuff. Okay, so I've answered this question in different forms to create a believable science fiction world. There are elements in sci-fi like ray guns, spaceships, fast vehicles, androids, robot chicks and shit, aliens. This is like the fancy sauce dressing of sci-fi. But you can't have a meal entirely on sauce alone. So if you want to make your world believable, you must consider the basic things like how do those people eat? If they're on a spaceship, what are the day-to-day activities like? Like this sounds funny, but like how do they shit? How do they manage stress and relationships? It doesn't need to be like a extremely relationship or human-centered version of things either. But like the more you include those things. So for example, imagine it's a space mission. And if you imagine it's a space mission, and it might be a very serious mission. I don't know, maybe they're going up to blow up an asteroid or something. But still, you could have the characters joke about like, oh, you woke up with your face in my butt again or something, And then it could be a way to like create a sort of bond or a sense of humor and friendship between your characters. Or if you're just simply world building, you could look at cases like this where like, I don't know, if it's a zero gravity environment, maybe there's a specific kind of nightmare that comes when people sleep in zero gravity, It's like night terrors, but in space. So yeah, you could go to the raw basics of life, like things that you and I and everybody else goes through, and try to apply them realistically to that setting and like build up from there. Matthias Garay, and drawing tips. Well, the only tip for drawing, take a pen, start drawing. Tactful apology from Alo Azor House. Yes. Yes. Amanda says, I like kitschy, unrealistic sci-fi too. Yeah, that has its charms. That's why there are like different punk sci-fi genres, like diesel punk, steampunk, ray punk, cassette futurism. Like every kind of aesthetic has its own subgenre, and like you could go there. I personally like the somber style of old kind of cheesy sci-fi movies like The Day the Earth Stood Still. Or there's this Japanese movie called The Warning from Space. It's got these like lovely starfish aliens. They look a bit like this. I mean, they look a bit like these. So that's a funny movie. It's called The Warning from Space, and I think you can watch it for free on YouTube. Tyler Coleo, Carnifex, says, by the way, is everybody inviting their friends and loved ones and crushes and everyone onto the stream? Come on, we need more buddies in the room. But I feel privileged to be able to get 17 of you peoples here tonight, so that's nice. Tyler Colero, Carnifex says, I've been working on my speculative alien project again. after putting it to a back burner for a while, it feels nice to come back to it. Yes, I think it's nice to like go back and forth with these things. And when you go back to it, you come back with a fresh burst of energy. Oreosaurus says, For All Mankind is a good sci-fi show. I agree. I agree. The fourth season is out. I still have to watch it. The first three seasons were good, I think. And the characters are nice too, but in the third and I think the fourth season of For All Mankind, I am more interested in how they're going to be able to stretch history and stretch this alternative positive history of the future into the early 2000s and beyond. And it's also interesting how, like, so in the premise of that series, the space race goes very well, and the Soviets, instead of going corrupt, they believe they kind of develop in a more robust way. And then both the Soviets and the Western Alliance, or the United States, let us say, establish their own colonies and bases in space and stuff. So it's a more optimistic and more positive version of the last 30 years, essentially. And funnily enough, all the music of the 80s still sounds like the 80s. All the music of the 90s still sounds like the music of the 90s. But with those sorts of historic developments, you would probably have different art forms entirely. Because some, if not all of art, even the most crass commercial form of art, is predicated by political developments. For punk, you need the sort of dark dejection of the 1970s. If you get punk music that way, then it develops into other forms. For the 1990s, sort of Kurt Cobain and like all that sort of music, which coincidentally also plays in For All Mankind episodes, seasons 3 and 4. You need this sort of like suburban ennui, but do they also stay the same? We don't know. But yeah, it's fiction. And of course, you have to have some frame of reference to show your audience like this is the past, but as you've never seen it before. So yeah. Pepular says, what are your thoughts on Lovecraft? I don't think I've heard your opinion on him. I've actually spoken about Lovecraft numerous times before in different streams. And I have read a great biography of Lovecraft by Sprague L. Kemp. I even like showed it on screen in a previous stream and like quoted the themes and stuff. But basically, he was an insane racist, but he also broke new ground in fiction. The whole concept of an alien race before humanity wasn't really there. Maybe somebody else could have articulated it, but yeah. The story of Lovecraft is actually, I think, is one of like class decline and disillusionment, because he was the grandson of a very wealthy New England family. So he was surrounded by lots of intellectual amenities, lots of stimulation. And remember, in those days, not everybody had something like the internet. So this guy was growing up surrounded by books and stuff, learning to read and learning to read on quite sophisticated concepts too. Later on, he became a writer for these like essay magazines or like exchanging letters. And then his family lost his fortune. So this sort of like upscale personal development, it got banned somewhere along the way. And then it got mixed with hatred. I think he always had a bit of racism in him from the New Englander background. I mean, he was an insane racist against African Americans. He was a also horrible anti-Semite, but also he ended up marrying a Jewish lady, Sonia, and then he had this weird group of friends, and he was just a curmudgeon. But the story is of like somebody who had like high class privileges and lost them and became dejected. If Lovecraft's family hadn't lost their fortunes, this person would be like a more generic New Englander. Maybe he would not have that hatred in him, or it would have been at a baseline level, because everybody was baseline racist then. So I think anything you read by him, you should read knowing this guy's life, and instead of canceling it, you should understand how it developed, and this was just this sort of a person. And Benny says, yes, actually, towards the end of his life, Lovecraft did realize that he probably was on the wrong path all along. I know from Sprague L. Camp's biography of Lovecraft that he expressed profound regrets towards her friend, towards his friend, about the way he was racist, the way he had a closed mind, the way he was silly about this whole Anglo-Saxon nationalism thing, and he also felt bad about the way he treated his then ex-wife. So, yes. Yet Amanda says he may have been a repressed homosexual. I don't know, but maybe. I think everybody goes through a bit of a gay phase, especially if they're creative and reclusive. If his friends ever reciprocated these feelings, then may have been a different life for him. I don't know. Allosaur House says Lovecraft would sadly be a 4chaner if he was around today. True. Bromance. Dominic Zeleniak says, what social media do you use? I am on Instagram. I am on Twitter. I am on Facebook, but I rarely use it. I am on Pinterest. And I have a placeholder account on TikTok. I don't ever plan to use it. And of course, I'm on YouTube. Other than that, I'm not on Threads, anything else. What Bot Pirate says, what was your gay phase, Mr. Kozman? I don't know. I was a big David Bowie fan. But throughout my life, when I was in my early 20s, I did look quite skinnier and feminine. I did like, because I was a Bowie fan, I did enjoy maybe wearing dresses just for show. I did enjoy putting eyeliner or just paint in my eyes. I like that. But I have always enjoyed being the penetrator, and not just being the penetrator, but being the penetrator of human beings that had feminine looks, Other than that, I don't know. Goes a fam, says Popular, yeah. Cauliflower says, didn't you have a DeviantArt? Yes, I had a DeviantArt too. Yeah. God damn, I forgot DeviantArt even existed as a social media site. The Lesser JD says, fanboy count. I don't know. I almost made out with a transvestite in one of those LGBT parades in Istanbul back in the day, but I don't know. I never overthink about this shit either. I am me, who, if one day I want this or that, I don't care. Neither should you. It's just matters of the flesh, and everybody has them. It's not that big of a deal. Amanda Bopi says, in my personal experience, almost every woman has a lesbian face. I don't know a single woman who hasn't made out with another woman at least one. Okay, maybe. It's a world I'll never know. It's unimportant to label oneself. Yes. Just have fun. On top of that, I would add maybe be confident. You should probably be told that transvestite is a bit of an outdated term. Some people consider it to be a slur. Hmm. Well, I'm sorry if that ruffled any feathers. I did not intend that way. Allosaur House says, I'm going to be 23. I haven't had a girlfriend. I don't know, bro. I mean, I hope you be happy. But it seems that there's this sort of, I mean, you can be edgy, but sometimes the edginess veers off into into an abrasive character. Like what with that joke about Prometheum back there. I mean, look, if you say things like this, other people will take note of it. But I don't know. Let's change the subject. I don't think you will end up. If you ask this question, you probably won't end up in the Lovecraftian path. Yeah. All right. 22 people in the chat. Favorite non-dinosaur extinct animal, says the Lezo JD. Ooh, very, very good question. I'll just be chivalrous and I will say that I will also exclude all the mosasaurs and pterosaurs and all the dinosaur adjacent reptilian creatures, but I don't know, maybe glyptodons, those giant armadillo things with the spiky ball tails, and some of the giant elephant like creatures, giant relatives of elephants. Allosaur House says maybe the early 20s aren't the glory years they are made out to be. Yes, I think men, especially mature after. If I was a lady, I would not trust a man over. I would never trust any man below the age of 30. Like, really, our brains don't start working properly. We are misguided and fallen like that. So, favorite non dinosaur extinct animal? Probably the giant elephant like creatures, giant relatives of elephants, glyptodonts. This is going to be a cliche answer, but maybe even Megalodon, the giant shark. There's a lot of conversation going on these days about the way it was shaped or how it was kind of like built. So yeah. The thing with a sense of humor, I think, is that it should not be your main character. Like if you're the funny one or the one with the jokes or whatever, you will find yourself compelled to joke all the time. And then people will be laughing at you, not them with you. I just be Also, try not to fit in a group either. If that doesn't work, I never tried that. I just tried to develop confidence in myself, and it happened. And then have no thoughts, no, have no axe to grind, but only your thoughts to polish. How would you design a kaiju-sized terrestrial beast? It would probably be like a moving mountain, like so. If this is the ground here, if this is maybe one person, maybe it's like something that consists of like thousands of exchangeable units, like giant tree trunks, but they kind of like bend, latch, and flow together. So it's like a shambling, almost like upright mangrove forest type of thing. So it kind of like always moves. I think that's the only way technically you could get at a kaiju-like size. So that would be my idea. But Pirate says, what must be the quote of the night? Humor lives in observation and play, not in stereotypes and irreverence. Very true. So very true. Amanda says, popo is a cute word for butt in German. And Cauliflower says, yes, it's that in Turkish too. Poposaurids. Yeah, I mean, the question specifically was non-dinosaur creatures, but I just wanted to exclude all dinosaur adjacent animals too, like all reptilian things or quasi-reptilian creatures. I wanted to exclude them too. So, yeah, apparently Megalodon was longer and leaner. And then Dankylosteus, the famous bone jaw fish, was somehow shorter and more chunky. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Usually these things, I mean, there's a new paper every 5 years, but in some cases, the science is just so hazy and sketchy that like you have to be a bit skeptical for that. Oh, it's my good friend YouTube Joseph. Hello, my dear friend. He says, when you're done with all tomorrow's Redux and Snaead, you should do a future evolution of life on Earth. Maybe I will. Good idea. Maybe. Who knows? Thank you for the suggestion, though. I hope everything is well with you, your family, and everybody you love. But Pirate says, how far behind are we on releases on Paleo Discoveries? Well, I mean, there are some that have been in development for a number of years. I mean, I know a few things from Ted Zukon and from my friendships with Darren and other scientists that there are some discoveries that haven't been published. There's something I really know about, like the feet of a certain animal, which will really blow everybody's minds. But these haven't been published yet. And sometimes it can be up to like a decade long for the scientific facts to make it to the press. Or on other cases, it could be like as little as a year. It all depends on certain human factors or like technical reasons. I don't know. Famously, scientists, when they say something, they will do it, but the time frame is a bit flexible. Happy New Year and happy belated holidays to you too, Joseph. You know feet secrets. What's the deal with the erotization of feet in this recent generation? I mean, I just posted a video, an expedition video where I'm in a hotel and my feet show. Somehow, for Gen Z, feet are erotic again. Well, I mean, look. What's erotic about this? I got the world's most distorted feet. Just look. I mean, I'll show you my normal foot first. Then I will show you my bent foot. So this is my normal foot. Oh, by the way, I can move all my digits individually. You can see this. I can. It's prehensile too. But this is the normal one, okay? Ooh. This is the normal one. Now this is the beast foot. Look at this. It's all leathery. The flesh is different. It's covered with leather. I don't know. I mean, like, look, I can run a blade through it. Doesn't hurt. It's weird. And this toe is gigantic. And this is prehensile too. Wow, this is the beast foot, yeah. There are like these horns and callosities here. This is like a parrot's beak right here. So yeah, this was one of the reasons I was exempt for military service, by the way. The beast foot versus the normal foot. Look at the difference. And if anybody thinks this is erotic, I don't know. Beast foot clunk, yeah. So the secret is I have fallen arches, okay? And well, the beast foot, I'll show you one more. Look how flexible this motherfucker is. Look at it. It's like a hand. Anyways, the beast foot, I never wear shoes or sandals in summer, okay? I always go everywhere barefoot. I run on asphalt barefoot. I run on forests, hills, rocks, beaches, whatever. And then, yeah, and then the beast foot was the main weight supporting foot, you know? And over the years, it accumulated this tough, leathery skin. It's a bit like an acquired characteristics, but I'm really proud of it. I really love it too. You know, I can grab like soda cans with it and crush them. It's beautiful. It's a force. It's a special power. Feet reveal. Okay, everybody's into barefoot walking. Okay, yeah. Evolution in the process. Well, I mean, look, I don't know. None of these organs feel that special to me. But of course, this was I think some of you lurkers back there screen capped the beast foot and everything. Okay, what can I do? Feet are not organs; they are body parts, says YouTube Joseph. Oh, it's my good friend Lorelei Sinai having some afternoon coffee after partially working on a hawk. I believe you're preparing it for a museum specimen. It's hawk feet are weird. They're like the letter X, literally. They call it zygodactyl. So that's cool. Lorelei Sinai is preparing birds. Oh, the hawk I'm working on isn't zygodactyl. Then maybe it's my mistake. Wait. Let's look at. I know parrots have zygodactyl feet. Woodpeckers, owls, most parrots, and other birds. Oh, so wait. Yeah, bird feet are strange, and I thought I knew better. So yeah. Cauliflower says, I always use my feet to open doors at home. I do that too. It's a Cooper's hawk. Yeah. This is a gathering place for everybody who uses their feet for object manipulation. Community. I built a community of prehensile feet people. 20 people. It's a lazy night, but nice conversation. Last week's stream was really wild, though. Let me show you what I've been working on. So in the garbage, I found this strip of paper. It's actually lining for a window display. This is like a transparent sticker, actually. So this side is more like plasticky. You can actually peel off the sticker. It's just transparent. But of course, I didn't do that. I took the whole strip from the garbage and painted this amazing, amazing parade of creatures on it. Just look at it. Hoş geldiniz.
Ehliyetimi aldılar.
Aa. Geçmiş olsun. İyiyim. My parents are home. I'm saying hello to them.
Mehmet'in alkolik. 6439 lira ceza yazmış. Orospu çocukları.
Geçmiş olsun.
6439 lira.
All right, everybody. Unfortunately, there's some drama. Fortunately, not involving me directly.
Sen de yani her şeyi anlatmıyor.
Anlatmıyorum ki arkadan sesin geldi. So I'm not ambidextrous, but I can do this trick. It's a party trick. You should learn about it too. You take two pens.
Nereye ödeyecek bir şey bu?
İndirimi var. %25. Ödüyorsun diyorsa. Sen ne yapıyorsun?
You can just like write as a mirror.
Ne?
Yoksa mercimek çorbası içmek ister misin yeşil?
Kim ben mi?
Basically, you can work your hands on tandem, and you can write. Well, you can write back to front. Yeah. It's weird because when you write in this mirrored way, you can write backwards easily,
Niye pardon?
but you can never write backwards on your own. Oh, gang.
Ne ya Allah aşkına?
Boris Chonev says, Mr. Kozman, have you thought about changing the environment of the creatures instead of the creatures themselves? After all, the environment is what shapes them. There's a lesson to be had here. I think we are used to studying creatures individually, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like taking a cell out of its environment, and yeah, it can survive. It can even be cultured. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at nature, the smallest unit of an ecosystem is an ecosystem. So without the savanna, you don't get the lion. Without the reef, you don't get the moray eel. So that sort of thinking is also very important. It's actually a quite profound way to look at nature. Dominic says, what if humans went extinct and abundant technology by humans were discovered by intelligent animals like crows? Would they be able to use them? Maybe, at least certainly for like basic tool use. I mean, a crow could take a piece of iron and use it as a knife. Maybe they could harvest dead cities for nails to build stuff with, or like to use as little pickaxes or something. When it comes to more complicated tools, I don't think any tool would survive that long. Like cars would never survive the long time it would take for crows to evolve intelligence. So we have to limit ourselves only to basic tools. Pipes, those are actually pipes, bricks, shingles, roof shingles. I mean, flying intelligent crows could harvest cities for roof shingles or iron. Yeah, Benny says languages would be unintelligible, but I don't think many human artifacts retaining language would even survive that long. We're talking about at least a few million years until crows become really smart, But even in a few million years, which is a very short time geographically, like not much text would survive. You would have to look for it. Not my corrugated roof. Okay. Just checking some messages. Geçmiş olsun anneciğim. Kapama aç. Işığı. Ver. Lorelei Sinai says, cashews. Yeah, those would be nice to have. Sponsored by Coca-Cola tonight. "24 people. What a great night. Thoughts on mangoes? I don't like the taste. I'm also not a huge avocado fan. Pineapples, I don't like that. I like apples, oranges, tangerines, pears or pomegranates sometimes, bananas too. I actually, one of my tricks, life hacks is always carry a banana on me, because if you happen to miss skip lunch or something, these bad boys have so much potassium in them. They keep you full and smart and energized. Yes, pineapples can be extremely acidic, Lorelei. You're right. Like, I sink my teeth in it and I feel this curdling in my gums. I hate that. I love figs. I love figs, and figs are a great favorite. I love peaches too, as my mother remarks. Peaches are great, especially in autumn. YouTube Joseph says, I have to go now. Goodbye, my friend. Be well. Cauliflower says, how often do you wash your hair, sir? Just asking. Every day or if there are 30 days in a month, I wash my hair at least 29 days, like every day. But the secret is this. So 1 year ago, I discovered this shampoo that has garlic in it. And it's not one of those fancy bullshit foreign brands. It's a local Turkish brand. Basically, I don't even know the brand name, but all I know is it's got garlic in it. The brand name may be Hobby, as in Hobby, but I'm not really sure. I'm not really great with, like, all my life I was using Head and Shoulders, nothing else, okay? It was actually causing my hair to fall out. Then I switched 1 year ago to Mr. Garlic motherfucker, and then oof, it makes it very silky. And this is not an expensive brand. In fact, it's like a locally Turkish made, locally produced shampoo. It has got a weird brand name. I don't even remember. I need to check. But it really keeps my hair like from falling, and it gives it all this silky shape. I really like it. Eating some cookies after an enriching lunch because you gotta chonk the fuck up. Yes, Lorelei Sinai is chonk maxing. Are there fruits specific to Turkey? Turkey is a global powerhouse in the production of certain fruits and vegetables. Figs, tomatoes, olives. It's just like you only realize this after you leave the country, because every street corner, including even in the worst of neighborhoods and like the worst of cities, there's a greengrocer, and they sell fresh, healthy fruit. The kind of fruit you would pay hundreds of dollars for in the States. It's a staple. Hazelnuts too. Ilgun says, Kösemen abi nasılsın? How are you, brother Kösemen? Well, I'm very well, Ilgun. Thank you so much. I hope everything is well over at your part of the world too. There was somebody back there saying, can you wish me happy birthday, daddy? Happy birthday, wherever you are. Cauliflower says, hazelnuts, pomegranates, and peaches originate from Eastern Anatolia. Probably true. Probably true. If they didn't originate, I'm sure that at least they entered world history there. Yeah. Squished me YT says hell 9. Probably meant hello. Ulgan says, I am calling from Newfoundland. There's a snowstorm 2 days in a row, and we're in a lockdown just like in COVID. Well, have a great time wherever you are. The conversation has swung to fruit. Amanda says, has anyone been to Japan and tried their designer fruits? There are strawberries that cost 8 euros each. I have no idea about that. But that, to be honest, personally, that sort of food doesn't appeal to me. Like in Japan, if I ever will be lucky enough to travel to Japan, I would try the street food or like small restaurants. Oh, I would eat so much. Lorelei says, goodbye, my dear friend. Thank you for joining us. Pepular says another very wise quote. There is more joy in a homegrown fruit than in an imported luxury harvest. Very true. Gavin Tidwell says, have you tried persimmons? Let's see what persimmons are. Oh, they're those tomato-looking motherfuckers. Their Latin name is weird. Diospyros kaki. Unfortunately, I've never tried them. Can't even tell if they're sweet or not. Like, if you say they're fine, I think they're fine. Apples apparently originated in Central Asia. I need to like fact check on all of these, but I mean, it would not be surprising that many food items had their origin in Turkey, because this is one of the central parts of world history, and a very ancient part too. All right. What was the strangest food all 25 of you ever ate? Let's carry the conversation forward from there. The strangest food you ever had. Sea urchin, says Pepular. That's nice. I used to smash sea urchins and eat them when I was a kid near the seashore. Weird, lovely butt pirate jellyfish. Pepular says, I grow fruit in my garden based. Dominic Zeleniak says, fish pizza. Ooh. One of the weirdest things I ever ate was, and I loved it, was escargot. snails, land snails, and I had them in a town in northern Italy. It was beautiful. Raw acorns. Oh no. Cauliflower says, I love eating. I have once had these weird purple fruits called pawpaws. All right. Yeah, escargots do taste like mussels, not mussels, but like mussel, mussel. Benny says, some of my relatives in Russia make strange balls made out of sour hardened milk. Oh my god. Could be interesting. Ulgun says raw Russian fish soup. Interesting. I love fish soup actually, but I like it when it's heated and it's kind of like blended. There's a place in Istanbul that does like fish soup for €2 or $2, and it's the most wonderful food. We have to thank Amanda for driving the conversation forward in these last few streams. Ilgun says, where is the fish restaurant in Beşiktaş? It is in Istanbul near the Beşiktaş district, right next to the fish market. So when you get there, there's a fish place right next to the fish market. They do a lovely fish soup. I'm going to call this the Fruity Wednesday live stream. Oh. Speaking of weird foods, let's not forget the cat food I shared with Annanem, the cat, 2 streams ago. Ax Jacques Film says hello. Squidlord says weirdest food, cow tongue. Ilgun says, who's tried the blood sausage haggis? I tried it. I love it. I love it. Benny says, let's go for an off-topic question on science fiction writing. Please, please, let's do this. So I'm awaiting for Benny's question on sci-fi writing. Cauliflower mentions the weird Turkish delicacy, sheep's brain and eyes. Dan McAleer says, haggis is not blood sausage, black pudding is my mistake. My mistake. Mea culpa. I did have sheep brains too. They tasted exactly like brains would taste, like tasteless, kind of like it tasted pale, if that makes any sense. Benny says, I want to write a time travel setting with a character slightly analogous to Jesus who can be the cause for their own birth. How do I avoid or explain away paradoxes here? Well, for something like that with time travel, it's very difficult. I mean, you could make it as if he arrived from an adjacent timeline and closed the loop there. So it would be like shifting to another lane. And so he's a visitor from essentially not the past, but from another universe. Or you could go for a literary device and simply let this thing remain a mystery. Characters trying to explain the origin of this time traveling Jesus would like inevitably say this is an imponderable, it's a question from outside the universe, or like, so if you use phrases like that, it could also work as a literary device. And in case of time travel, it's as good as a scientific excuse because we still don't know anything about the universe and time travel. It's extremely hypothetical. Pepular says, do you believe the universe is predetermined? The way I see it, it is predetermined, but infinite predetermined universes also lay next to each other. I mean, unless we are replaying a record in the mind of a god or something like this, if we assume that time as we know it is really advancing and it's not just our objective, our subjective understanding, then there's less chance of the universe being predetermined. But if we are just reliving a memory, a shared memory, then maybe it could be predetermined. Mikin says, hello, I'm late. What are we talking about? We just talk about fruit, followed by the weirdest foods we all ate. And now we were just talking about predetermination and the course of time. Only on this channel and only with this community. I'm so blessed to have you all. Ulgan says, do you have a favorite type of primate? It would either have to be spider monkeys or those little tarsier motherfuckers. Spider monkeys weirdly don't have thumbs. That I found that bizarre because they fling themselves through trees and their hands basically function like hooks and they're very long, obviously. So a thumb here would actually block its gripping action. So this has become lost. So it's just digits. And don't even get me started about their tails. They're like separate entities. Exactly. And such a big appendage with that much neural investment. It's interesting. And also, I'm a big fan of tarsiers, those big-eyed little lemur things with huge eyes. So anecdotally, one of the things I know about orangutans is they're pretty chill animals. They're also pretty fearless. I mean, they're afraid of cobras, and obviously, if they share their habitats with tigers, they're wary. But this might be wrong, but apparently, if orangutans see a tarsier, they're just so scared. For them, it's like seeing a jinn or a ghost or a demon, and they go out of their ways to like swat them away. Like, no, I don't want it. It's like 100-kilogram big lump of an orangutan, scared to death of this little jinn. Some Czechoslovakian banter going on in the comments there. Matthias Garay says, what do you think about convergent evolution? That's very nice. A great concept, actually. how much of convergent evolution is really convergent and how much of it is actually determined by pre-existing characteristics. Now, the usual trope of like dolphins, ichthyosaurs, and sharks, that indeed is convergent evolution. But could they be doing that because they all have backboned ancestors? And in fact, you could have a totally different solution to this. And you do see it in the shape of squids, which have this completely different body plan. They still have roughly the same shape, but they're like. And when you get to like more closely related groups of animals, for example, there are patterns in which anal lizards colonize islands in the Caribbean. You have like long-legged versions climbing and short-legged versions living on the ground and stuff like that. So on each island these develop separately. Now the question is, does one anole get there and speciate into like tree-dwelling and ground-dwelling species? I'm overtly simplifying these, by the way. Or do the long-legged versions colonize islands independently? Or if they do, maybe both happens. It's all a bit crazy. So that's what convergent evolution, that's the train of thought convergent evolution raises in me. Yeah. Let me check some messages. There's a lot of love for couscouses, those weird, again, they almost look cartoony, those weird opossum like creatures from Australia. Gavin Tidwell says, how do you feel about couscouses and other marsupials? I think they're just great. A large variety of marsupials live in South America, actually, even to this day. Possums, they're amazing. My favorite has to be the yapok, which is a water opossum with like weird primate-like hands, but a long tail that helps it swim. It's really like a spec evo creature. Yapok, that's Yapok. Matthias Garay says, what's a smart person for you and what is not? I have a different view on things. Like, I am book smart, but actually for me, smart people they have a more like almost wild sense of genius, and they use it to like really get to unique places in life. So somebody who knows a lot of facts, he or she can also be cool, but like a real genius would be somebody who like escapes a war-torn country, moves to another part of the world, and then starts a new life there, and then uses his or her wit to like do something nobody has done before. Not just succeeding, but like kind of bending patterns and stuff. My favorite example is Morris Shinasi, who was born in Manisa, Turkey, the son of a poor Jewish family living there. Anyways, long story short, he became a tobacco giant, and he actually came up with a kind of machine that makes rolling cigarettes possible or easier. So he invented this machine. And then he was also a business genius. He went first to Alexandria, and then he moved to the States, and he became one of the like wealthiest people there. Now, this man did not know how to read. And then I think they asked him in one famous interview, do you think you would have been even more successful if you knew how to read? They asked to Philip Morris, Shinasi. And he said no, because if I knew how to read, I know I would be hired as a graveyard guard. And apparently, this was one of the first jobs he applied to in Manisa, present day Turkey. And the people there were like, you don't know how to read, so you can't find gravestones for visitors, so you don't get this job. Because he didn't get that job, he became a trader and went into the tobacco business. So I think that's like a real sort of intelligence, like being able to apply your knowledge to real life things. This is not to disown book smart people either, but I think that's just a whole different kind of. All I'm saying is intelligence does not equal education. In fact, more and more in this day and age, there's an inverse relationship between the two. Luca Ricci says, "What weird animals can I look for inspiration into drawing human reptile hybrids?" I'll use this excuse to plug my Pinterest. Go to pinterest.com/CM Kozeman, and I've got lots of reference boards there for organisms, paleo art, mystical art, contemporary spirit art, or military stuff. It's all a bit of a mix, but it's all like properly indexed reference stuff. I think you would enjoy it. Dominic Zeleniak says, I think the weirdest mammal is the colugo. It really is weird. I always used to think it was a protobat, but apparently it's a relative of the lemurs. But it's this thing with enormous gliding membranes, and it starts from the chin and extends all the way to its legs and arms. What do you think about Werner Herzog? Says Matthias Garay. He's a great director, and he's very prolific. He has many, like loads of documentaries and stuff. Is everything okay with my voice, by the way? So Werner Herzog, I wish I had more time to watch all his films. Some of his films, they're like a bit on the poetic side of things, let us say. I mean, he's just flexing his poetic connections between different strange things, and they should not be viewed as documentaries per se. What's a movie you think everyone needs to watch? Says Gavin Tidwell. Barry Lyndon by Stanley Kubrick. I think all of Kubrick's films you need to watch. I mean, they're like the end all be all. How to tell a story, you really need to see them, especially Barry Lyndon. So my voice sounds okay, all right. Squidlord says, my local supermarkets just suck. Well, I'm sorry if you had that experience. I like going to the most budget, the most cheapest supermarkets, and then getting the weird knockoff products they have there. They're not too bad actually, especially if you're looking for like chips or chocolate and junk food. Squid Lord is gonna go on an urbexing expedition just to scavenge for different kinds of fruit. In this channel, I've got so many nice urban expedition videos coming. Just you wait. Ah. Popular says, if you could have one animal tied to you for your being and your fate, does that mean that if the animal gets hurt, I get hurt too? What animal would you choose? I don't know. Probably a bird. One of the more like a crow or a pigeon or something. Ulgun says, what were some of the things you were scared of as a kid? My silliest fear was Marilyn Manson. I was really scared of UFO stories and I was really scared of alien abductions. So, yeah, that's a silly thing. Luca Ricci says, what are some weird animals I can look for inspiration? I told you, go to Pinterest, CM Kozeman. If you're looking for flying humanoids, also look at those Colugo flying lemurs that everybody was talking about. What lineage of animals would you have tied to you? Probably gecko lizards then, the course of their evolution. I like those things. Oh, it's coming to nearly 2 hours. I think I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to call it a night in 15 minutes. Benny says alien abductions seem to be a very common fear for young people. When I was young, I always used to have nightmares about being abducted by aliens and sometimes the Beatles. Whoa. I think they are kind of connected with the structures of nightmares themselves, don't you think? Hmm. Yeah, I'm a bit tired, everybody. It's the middle of the week, everyone. So, yeah. Amanda Bo P says, were you also scared of unrealistic scenarios like quicksand and stuff? Actually, no. But my family suffered greatly in the big earthquake of 1999. We lost my grandmother in the earthquake. And because of that, for years, I had a big fear of phobia of earthquakes and earthquake proof buildings and stuff. But then I think 10 years ago, that just went away for me. I don't care anymore. Some people are afraid of sharks, and it's just the worst fear, especially in this part of the world. Pepular says, for someone who's related to alien fanatics, I never had fears of being abducted despite my parents telling me so. So your parents were into UFO lore. I guess growing up, it's a kind of reflex to find parents a bit cringe. So maybe you were saved on that technicality. All of the alien phobia is H.G. Wells' fault, says Akshak Films. Well, maybe. Even if people had no notion of aliens, though, I think something like ghosts or demons would have replaced the fear of alien abductions. Oh. Everybody's telling their dreams. Amanda says, oh, sorry. Mikin says, I was being hunted by a giant orangutan like ape. Squidlord says, once I dreamed I was a robot and I had to travel through different universes, being chased by the gods of all those universes. That sounds like a nice dream. Pepular says, sexy aliens like the Princess of Mars. Let me get some salty snacks. I'll be right back. Anneannem, look who I found. Ne oldu? Say hello to Kadrina, everybody. Oh. Huh. Oh, she's so old. She's got cataracts. Cataracts. I know that's a horrible pun. Oh, Bean. Oh, Bean. Oi, look at no brain left behind those eyes. Oh. Pepular says the sexiest alien from any media are the xenomorphs of the Alien franchise. I kinda agree. Look at her. Do you ever think about some random obscure topic and then encounter it again on the internet? It happens to me sometimes. I have no idea. Of course, if you search for that on your phone and then it comes up, now obviously those are algorithms. Lukarikki says, have you heard of Osman Zakamel's Monji Turki? What the hell? God damn, man, there's no person by that name. You're pulling my leg here. Ilgun says, what are you eating? Cheesy? No, it's this weird snack called Greta. Olive oil flavored salty crackers. Hmm. One second, just checking messages. Okay. Everybody's talking about their favorite Star Wars aliens. Squidlord says, I'm a fan of Ashoka Tano. Mwah. In the Star Wars universe. Amanda and Pepular are big fans of Darth Maul. My favorite Star Wars race, blue elephant people, Ortolans, Max Rebo species. Ortholan. Mind the way, ortolan is also a really cruel French dish made out of songbirds. They catch those birds in a net and then keep them in the dark so they make some enzyme which makes them even tastier, and then like burn them to a crisp and eat them raw or something. It's disgusting. Oxjack Film says, do you know the Star Wars name for jazz? Unfortunately, I do. The music genre is called jizz wailers. And now, of course, jizz means something completely different. Yeah, Asajj Ventress was a sexy character, but I did not know if she was a Dartomirian. If we're talking about sexy aliens, we must also mention the 1992 film Species featuring Natasha Henstridge with an alien designed once again by H.R. Geiger. So, yeah, that was a great film. It was 1995, so my mistake. Wasn't such a bad film. Benny says, any thoughts on the art of Beksinski? I think that his art is really nice, though when I'm searching for his paintings, I get a lot of AI art. Yeah, this happens to me too. Beksinski is a great dark fantasy artist, but even when I'm searching for my art these days, I get a lot of weird AI shit that people use to make like my stuff. And I'm always like humbled and proud because imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But yeah, in terms of artists like Beksinski and Giger, I think in 10 years, it's going to be very hard to find original artworks by any artist. And you're always going to check it, think twice, like, is this that artist really, or is it some AI or something like that? Especially judging by the speed in which these things evolve. So, yeah. Blake Richardson says, I just cut down a tree. Well, I hope now this show provides you a nice rest. What are some of the sexiest monsters, says Amanda Bopi. You've all been a horny bunch tonight. I think I spoke about this, but there was something called Melusine from French stories. It's a sort of forest spirit lady that lives in a castle, and every Saturday she turns into a half reptile winged creature. And because of this, her husband is not meant to look at her, but one day he does, and she turns into a reptile all the same. Mikin says anything painted by Mossa Kannibalis is very sexy. I agree. Mossa Kannibalis is a Korean artist and an online friend, and he's like wonderful in this thing. Like, so the name is Mossa, Mossa, Kannibalis, like the cannibal, but is. I'm thinking about potential sexy classical monsters. There are these things called lamias, which are like these Near Eastern succubus type spirits. I like them. Lilith, obviously, is the go-to scary mythical monster. Not scary, hot mythical monster. And there's some conversation about Kuchisake Onna, who's the Japanese yokai monster with the slit lips, and she asks you, am I ugly? And if you say yes, she kills you. If you say no, she opens her mouth and eats you. I'm getting sleepy and cold, everybody. Akstrak Film says there's this manga about Kuchisake Onna where it ends in a happy note. She gets married at the end. Nice. It's on Manga Plus, apparently. All right. Any closing questions? Any closing wishes? I'm gonna like call it a night in 2-3 minutes. So last comments. Lucariki says the most sexy monster is the Penangal. Of course, how could I forget this? A Penanggalan. It's a Indonesian/Malaysian story where the woman's head detaches from the body, complete with the guts and the lungs, and flies around at night, killing people, terrorizing people, stealing babies and shit. And then when the dawn is breaking, it flies back to the woman's body and like docks in again. Weird. I think David Cronenberg should do a Penanggalan film, erotic body horror style. Blake Richardson says, have you read the Teeming Universe? Yes, and I wrote an introduction to the last book in that series. Ilgun says, recommend me a song. I was just thinking about the Barbaros March in the name of Barbaros Hayrettin. It's a Turkish tune. Barbaros belki donanmayla bak nereden geliyor. And the chorus goes, it's one of the most poetic lines and one of the most poetic chorus sections in all of Turkish music. It says, dum dık dıs. Yeni doğmuş aya baktıkları yerden geliyor. Yeni doğmuş aya baktıkları yerden geliyor. Which means he comes from where they stare at the newly rising moon. And to express that much, such succinctly, na-na-na-na-na, na-na-na-na-na, Barbaros belki Afrika'dan mı, adalardan mı? It's a very based song. Axtrack Film says, cooking, thank you. Caden Slinker, hello. Dominic Zeleniak says, Medusa from the Fate series is hot. Haven't watched it. Any last comments before we say goodnight? It's been nearly 2 hours. Really appreciate the stream. Dominic says, many nice people here. I feel nowadays toxic social media is more toxic than it used to be. Yeah. So I encourage everybody. I don't use Discord much, but apparently there's a Discord channel dedicated to this stream. So maybe you can continue contacting each other there, or find each other wherever. I'm really happy to have this community, like a small number of eccentric, like-minded individuals. Amanda Bo P says, Bioshock monsters were hot. Okay, I see what you mean. Okay. How does one get to that server? Not from a Jedi. Wait, actually, I will launch Discord and get you the link before signing out. I'm such a boomer. It is called the CM Kozeman fan server, but I don't know how to share it. Oreosaurus is there. Maybe he can add you. Blake Richardson says, I built a huge table today. That's good. Man, I really appreciate everybody who works with their hands. Wait, I'm going to get to the bottom of this goddamn CM Kozeman fan server thing. How am I going to share this thing? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just useless. Steve Mopcannon says, hello everyone, I could only join in now. Well, we were just about to call it quits when I was confused by how to send the link to the CM Cosman fan service on Discord here. I'm sorry, I just could not manage this. Basically, it's written this. If you write it, you will find it. Oh, okay. Wait, now. Yes, now this is the link. Join here, everybody. By the way, sometimes there's this drama in these servers. I almost never check Discord at all. So just please be nice to each other. I know there's a kind of like edgy sexual humor inherent in this channel, but you know, just be nice to people. And if there's any terrible drama, I don't endorse it. I probably don't even know it. Keep it civilized. So people are already adding themselves to the server, I guess. Oh God. Where do we even see the people in a certain server? Oh. Yeah, number rule of Cosman Club, don't be a dick. Yes. So, okay, yeah, that was like the morale of the night. Enjoy the channel, but I'm only laterally affiliated with the Cosman Club. And nearly 2 hours. Yeah, I'm so sleepy, I'm slurring my word. Apologies. Actually, I was out urban exploring today. I've been to an amazing place. I can't reveal it now, but then a lot of stuff, day job stuff, art stuff. I'm just tired. Good night, sir. Good night. Good night, everybody says. Well, everybody, let us end with a note. 1, 2. This is the harbinger of the night. 3. Oh no, he's coming closer. God damn, he's coming to get you. 3, 2, 1, boom.